Okay, so this is gonna be a different kind of video. There's not any tips or tricks or things, but I really wanna tell you where I'm at right now on my creator journey and where my brain is at, and also fill you in on some updates with the studio, whether it's going well or not, and give you some big news. So different kind of video, but it's gonna be a fun one. If nothing else, it's a fun peek inside the way my brain works. Before we even get started, we have to talk about this sweatshirt. This is mine, part of my merch line. One life, because I am a big fan of remembering that we only have one life to live and we need to live it well. Actually, I got a tattoo of it too, and another tattoo. Want to know more about that? I'm going to put together a vlog all about my tattoo process in another video. But if you want one of these fun sweatshirts, if you want the One Life design, we also have some Spunk Hustle Grit designs and some more things coming soon. You can totally get it. It's all linked up below this video, and it's all thanks to today's sponsor, Spreadshop. With Spreadshop, I basically set up a merch store in no time, and I put it out into the world and started making money on it and started getting my brand on your bodies, and it's been so awesome. If you want to start your own merch shop, I highly recommend you use Spreadshop, and I have linked them below, or you can go to heyjessica.com/Spreadshop, and thank you again, Spreadshop, for sponsoring this video. Okay, so like I said, this is gonna be a different kind of video because I have a lot to fill you in on. But before I fill you in on the events and the very tactical bullet points, I need to kind of tell you where my head's at. I am so freaking tired, so tired of creating videos where I'm like, here's 4 ways to do X, Y, or Z. Here's 7 ways to grow your YouTube channel. Here is how I grew this. Here is that. Here is how to do this thing. I am just so tired of the tutorials and of the stuff. And it makes sense because, I've been on the platform for 6 years, no, for 5 years at this point, and I've been doing very similar content the entire time. It's I've been doing tutorial videos and how-to videos and really trying to make sure my videos rank well in search and all the things, and that is what I would recommend for you if you are starting out, because the fact that my videos rank in search is the whole reason that I have grown to this point. But if you've been around a while, you may have noticed that I haven't grown much this year. I hit 100,000 subscribers. When did I even hit 100,000 subscribers? Hold on. Let's look back on Instagram. I don't remember, but it's been a while. Okay, so sometime in November or December last year. Okay, wait a minute. November 21st, 2020, I hit 100,000 subscribers. I got my play button December 8th. So that's been 7 months ago. And if you look at my channel, I've only grown about 15,000 subscribers since that point. And I'm not discounting my growth, and I'm not really even putting that much store in my subscriber number. But to be completely candid here, my income on YouTube is half of what it was this time last year, which has a lot to do with a lot of different things. One, on what videos are being picked up right now of mine from YouTube and what advertisers are going on those videos, as well as just, other videos that fell off that were really peaking during that time because of COVID and people going home to work and all the things. And there's a lot that goes into that. But for my income to be half of what it was last year, it's probably not half, but it's definitely significantly less than what it was this time last year. And then for me to be annoyed with even doing this type of video, I've really been thinking well, then what do I need to do? What's gonna make me happy? What's gonna make you happy? What's gonna keep the algorithm happy? All the things. And for me, what I really wanna do is I wanna get away from those tutorial videos, and I really want us to be friends. And I want to bring more real life into my channel and into my videos and make it less robotic. And not to say I will never teach anything again, because that's absolutely not the case. But if I want to have a sit down chat with you, and then in the next video, I wanna tell you about this new business venture that I'm doing, which I will get to in a minute, I want to be able to do that, and I want you guys to want that too. you know? And I think a lot of times, at least for me, in the beginning, I focused a lot on getting the subscribers, getting the subscribers, getting the subscribers. And now that I have subscribers, I'm doing content that, yes, a lot of you do want, but a lot of you don't. And so what's happening is the subscribers I have are not watching my new videos. And that's not really what I want to do. I love content creation. I love being a content creator. I love being, you know, in that like influencer realm, although I think that word is kind of weird and I don't love it, but like in the content creator realm. And I really want to embrace that. I think you guys will love it. I think you guys will love what's going to come down the pipeline. And I actually have to like shout out Sarah Deichi. So if you don't watch Sarah's channel, she's like a tech review channel, but she does a lot of like, you know, her life mixed into her business stuff. And I would truly, truly think of her as a content creator. And last week or the week before, she did a video about how she doesn't fit in, how she doesn't know where she fits in this YouTube game, because she'll get on something and then she'll hyper focus and all these things. And Sarah, if you were to be watching, same girl. And I think watching her video really inspired me to kind of sit down with y'all and talk about this, because I have forced myself into a box and I don't like to be put in a box. I am an Enneagram 8 and I do not like to be boxed in. Yes, I've hopped from like box to box to box to box. And yes, I do think I have to stay somewhat in a box. It's not like I'm gonna take this channel, you know, completely the other way and like, you know, turn it over to my husband who's gonna start like doing farm videos on it. Like that's not what I'm gonna do, but like making the lines of the box a bit more blurred to where I can show you just more than the tutorials and the stuff. You know, I really want to show you behind the scenes, and I want to show you the day-to-day of things, and I want to like bring you along on the ride and help and teach and inspire and create content. I love being a content creator. That is what I love to do, and I love making content for other people and all the things. And I feel like I've rambled enough, but I want us to be friends. I want us to hang out. I want this to be a channel you enjoy watching. And I want to get away from the tutorial videos, to be honest. I love my business and the business stuff will always be here. It's just a matter of like the 1, 2, 3, 4s and the like, this is how you work this thing videos are probably gonna be less and less. I really wanna lean into the content creator side. And to be honest, I actually told y'all this back in like January. And I just haven't been doing it because the tutorials, the box is really comfortable for me. You know, I've been doing this for 5 years. So I can sit down, I can bullet point out a video, and I can record a video that will do well on the platform and put it out there and be done. And creating videos that are a bit more loose and a bit more, you know, not quite so like structured is more my personality, but a little more uncomfortable for me because it's not really what I've ever done on the platform. So anyway, I said all that to say that, like, that's what you're gonna see going forward, and I'm really excited about it. And I'd love to know what y'all wanna see. Although I think the next thing I'm gonna tell you is definitely going to fit in. So back in November or December of last year, right around the same time that I hit 100,000 subscribers, I told y'all that I got a studio.
Guess where I am? In my new studio! Hear that echo? I'm gonna have to get rid of that.
And you've seen several videos in the studio at different angles and with me filming in different places. And if you are subscribed to my vlog channel, then you already know this, but something you may not know is that it's kind of been a disaster. Now, I love the studio. I love the looks of it. I love the way I've set it up. Laura, my assistant, was working in there full time. But I learned a couple of things, and one of them is a final lesson for me. One of them I have learned before and thought something might have changed, and it hasn't. And then the other one is just a lesson that I think might be useful for y'all. And those lessons really are that, so I'm an extrovert. And so in my head, like in the logical part of my brain, I'm like, oh, I would love to go to an office every day and like walk around downtown to get lunch and be in there with my assistant and all the things, right? Because I love people and I love to be around people, and the hustle and bustle of our downtown area made me excited. But one, I'm just not my most productive self in that scenario because I do love people. So if I go to the studio, I'm either like talking Laura's ear off and neither one of us are getting our work done, or I'm like running around town and like walking and talking to people, and like I'm not super productive in that atmosphere. But two, I truly do love to work from home. I love to be able to get up early, work from here in my home office, which has like art that I need to hang up, but work from here, be able to do that kind of thing. And I think that like in my head, I thought, oh, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna have this studio, but I didn't even love to be there. One, because I wasn't super productive, and two, because it was a little inconvenient for me, particularly now that my kids are home for the summer. Like I don't wanna drag my children to the office because they're gonna be more of a nuisance there than they would be here, where like right now they're upstairs watching TV while I'm filming this video. Actually, I think they're watching YouTube. Shout out to FGTV and Mr. Beast for like entertaining my children. But with them home this summer, there's no world where I'm gonna be able to be in the office that much. And I really thought that that would be a place where I could host not courses, but like live classes and live podcast episodes and all of this stuff. I did host a live class there a month ago probably, and it was great. But the problem is that, and I'm gonna be completely honest here, there are very few people in my area wanting to build a business who are willing to pay for business advice. So while the class was really fun, and I actually really enjoyed that it was a small amount of people, I think we had like 8 or 9 people there, and I loved that, it's still like, that's just not worth my time. It's not worth my time to make $400 for like an hour and a half to 2 hours, to then have to spend some of that to buy like food and drinks for people, for my assistant to be there to help me, so I'm paying her. And in my head, it's a very hard thing to like reconcile, because I love to help my local community, but also like sometimes I get paid $500 for like 30-second videos, right? Or 30-second endorsements or more. And so it's hard for me to say like this is worth my time when it's really not. And it was time away from my family, it was time at night, and it scratched the itch that the extrovert in me has to see people, but it still isn't really worth my time if that's all the people that are gonna sign up for these things. And I did actually do the live podcast. I started a second podcast called Small Town Big Biz, where I invited small town business owners in my local community to come into the studio and to like talk about their business and to get advice. And that's still going on. You can subscribe on any podcast player. Just go to smalltownbigbiz.com and you'll see all the links for everything. There's even YouTube videos, but they're not the best angles of me, number one. And number two, we didn't really make it like super dynamic to watch or anything like that, but I did do that. But here's the second struggle, and it fits right in with this like live podcast situation. My studio is in the downtown area of my town, and we have a lot of tourists, which is awesome, and that's not really a problem at all. But in addition to the tourists and the local people, and because of that, we have a lot of traffic. Now, if I was on like the main street in my area, which is not called Main Street, which is the weirdest thing to me, but a street right there is called Main Street. Anyway, but if I was on that like main street of my area, the noise would still be there, but people don't like speed through there because there's like a stop sign every 12 feet. But down by where my office is, which is kind of on like a road that joins Main Street, people fly down through there. And I live in the country where there's a lot of country boy trucks, And that's just what happens. People will hit the stop sign that's, like right in front of my office and will fly past my office. And in doing so, it is very, very, very loud between the trucks and the motorcycles and even like the people who are walking around outside. Or like currently they're painting the building next to mine, so there's been workers out there. But my point is, there's a lot of environmental noise, and I have tried to soundproof. I have bought soundproof curtains. I have bought sound panels and temporarily fixed them to the wall because I wasn't even sure they were gonna work, and they didn't. And all of that stuff helped with my sound, like helped me be less echoey, but it didn't help the fact that like when a big truck drives by, you can hear it on the microphone, on the camera, or on the microphone for the podcast. And so for me to pay the rent on this studio where I literally couldn't film and record because it made our process 12 times longer, because here at home, I don't have a ton of noise other than right now my children, and today there are people working on my garage, but I'm in the other side of the house and it's mostly fine. So to like take it from like quiet home studio to loud, like in-person, in-town studio, increased my editing time. It increased my filming time. Like everything just went up, and I wasn't seeing the benefit of it. And I was getting really frustrated every single time I would film. Not only the outside noise, but my studio is in a downstairs commercial space with apartments above it. And the people above my studio tend to get loud during the day. Like one day I was in there last week filming a live video, or I was doing like a live on my Facebook page, and for whatever reason they were beating on the floor. Every single time that they flush their toilet, take a shower, anything with water, we hear it downstairs very loudly, to the point where if you've listened to my podcast, in those few episodes that I recorded in the studio, you could hear it audibly. All of the noise, coupled with the fact that I just am not my most productive there, that I really need to be at home where I'm not like distracted by 1,000 things, really made me start to think like, this is not working out for me. And I do have a lease on the building. So that brings me to the like big announcement. So a couple of reasons why I wanted this studio. One was because of how massive it is, and I knew that I would have flexibility with what it is, because it's like 1,800 or 1,900 square feet. Two, because of its location, and it's got those big windows in front. It lets a lot of light in, which again, not really a big deal because it also lets a lot of noise in. But three, because of those things, I knew that if it didn't work out as a studio, the risk was mitigated because I knew that I could flip it into some kind of retail store or something that tourists would enjoy and probably make money, above my lease cost or my rent. And so there's only one part of our area that is like foot traffic, walkable, that kind of thing, like a downtown area. And it's very cute, and we have a lot of tourists, and that my office is in that area. And so I felt really comfortable signing a long-term lease on the building, because I knew that if it didn't work out as a studio, I could turn it into something that could make money as a tourism spot. And I went through a lot of ideas, a lot of things like, let's let photographers rent it out to take pictures, because I even have like photography paper in there and like tons and tons of natural light and places you can set up. Like there could be like 4 different photographers in there shooting at any given moment. But we don't have the market for that. We just don't. Like there aren't enough photographers who even want that, much less enough photographers who are even here. I nixed that idea. And then I thought, well, let's do a co-working space. Same thing, we just don't have the market for it. There aren't a lot of people who are going to take advantage of a co-working space here. So as I was kind of brainstorming things that I could do with this space, I kept coming back to retail, because that's really what's gonna do the best in this area of my town. We have massive tourism, particularly on the weekends. From like May to Christmas, it kind of dies down January through March, and then we have pickups in April and then May and then Memorial Day on. So to me, like a retail store of some sort was really going to make the most sense in there, and anything I thought of was really going to require a lot of overhead planning and execution on my part, and I don't have the capacity for that right now. Like, I have my own stuff going on. I have everything, you know, like I have a business I have to run. And so for me to like have to run a store or have to like come up with inventory or like whatever just felt really not feasible. So another really fun part of our town is that we have a lot of makers and creators and sellers here. And generally it's on a pretty small scale. It's, you know, they sell from their home. They make like wooden signs or jewelry and like sell it in a Facebook group. And that's awesome. But also we do have not a lot, I won't say a lot of spaces where people allow vendors to come in and rent like booth space in an area. And a lot of those makers and creators do that. And so we have this fun coupling of these stores that are doing that and these makers. And there's a couple of them in our downtown area, but not many. And most of the ones that I know of are not walkable. And so the appeal of allowing vendors inside of a space that is walkable, is downtown, is, you know, touristy, is all the things, was really appealing to me, because then that's helping my local business owners. It's, you know, an easy-ish thing to set up and get started, and it is not going to require a lot from me once it's started. Now it has in this setup phase, but I have help. My assistant Laura has been helping a ton. So essentially, the big news is I'm turning my studio into a retail space. It's called the Foundry downtown. I'm hoping to have the sign up really soon, and we open at the end of June. It's gonna be, you know, 1,800 square feet of awesome creators and vendors and, you know, little mini stores inside of it, but it's all gonna feel like one big boutique. I really want to keep the feel of the store very southern and country and western and fun, you know? And I'm not making it to where it looks as if everything is like in a booth. I'm very much so making sure that the whole store flows together, even though this section of the store is a completely different person than this section of the store, et cetera, right? Like it doesn't matter. But I'm very excited. Again, it's been a lot of setup. I kind of decided to do it and decided to move quickly on it because of the season we're in, and because of the fact that I know if we don't get going, we're gonna miss the summer traffic. And I don't wanna do that. When you're seeing this, we're just a few weeks out from opening. We are actually doing setup at the end of this week, and it's a really exciting time. Like I say, it kind of happened on accident, if you will, but I'm a really fast worker and a really fast mover. And so when I get an idea and I know it's the right idea, I go forward with it. And I'm also a big believer that when something is meant to be, that it will be easy. I'm a Christian, and I'm like, God's not gonna make it hard on me if this is what I'm supposed to do. So that's a thought process I live by. It's like, if it's meant to be, it'll be easy. And this was like so easy. I have almost filled up the space within just a couple of weeks of not even advertising it, just literally like asking a few people who I knew had booths other places, and then the word spreading to the point where I'm going in there today to actually like measure off some more spaces and things like that, and I very well may be full. So it's really come together, but it's really exciting, and there's not a lot of people telling you about like retail business stuff and showing you behind the scenes. And so that's something I'm hoping to be able to do, especially in my town. Like, I have no clue what the expectation is. Like, I don't know. I might make $100 a weekend. I might make $10,000 a weekend. I literally don't know. And I'm not making that anyway, because it's all vendors going inside the space. So the way it's working is I'm charging a booth fee, and then the store will keep a certain percentage of their fee to obviously cover like staff and bags and all of those types of things. Ooh, actually that reminds me, I've got to order those bags. But that's what's going on around here. And I really want to bring y'all along for the ride in more ways than one, not just on the store, but just in general. I want this to be more of a conversation between us, and more of something where, you know, when I release a video, you don't care what it's about, you want to watch because you like to hang out with me and I like to hang out with you. And that's really what I want. And so that's what we're going to do moving forward. And I hope that you enjoy it. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. If you want to check out more about the Foundry, the new store that I'm opening, and you're in North Carolina or you're going to be visiting North Carolina, you can go to thefoundrydowntown.com. Thank you again to today's sponsor, Spreadshop, for being so freaking awesome and for sponsoring this video. If you want to start your own merch store, head over to heyjessica.com/Spreadshop or go to the link in my description below, and I'll see you later. Bye, y'all.